Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit and another episode of What Are We Eating? Well, not specifically what you and I are eating, but what prisoners are eating. And not all prisoners either, just the bad prisoners. Yeah, I know, all prisoners are bad, but I mean the really bad ones. Today I'm making a Nutraloaf, which is a food loaf served to prisoners as part of their punishment. There's various names for a Nutraloaf, like prison loaf, disciplinary loaf, food loaf, etc. And there's also various recipes and ways to make it. But the one thing you never want to call it, and it's not even remotely close to, is a meatloaf. There's been controversy over Nutraloaf, and it's said to be so bad it's considered cruel and unusual punishment. But luckily, it's generally nutritionally complete. Because after all, everything that's good for you tastes like crap. So I've heard about a Nutraloaf for a long time, and I thought about trying it. But when I heard and I saw a video of Sheriff Joe Appario, the toughest sheriff in America, the sheriff with the biggest eggs on the planet, who made his prisoners wear pink, gag when he took a bite of Nutraloaf, I said that's the perfect recipe for the What Are We Eating series. So let's get started and make this hunk of nutritional discipline. In a large bowl, add 6 slices of whole wheat bread chopped up into small pieces. Now add 2 cups of cooked and drained northern beans and make sure you get them all in the bowl, unlike I did. Then the clumped up grass from underneath your lawnmower, or a can of drained spinach. They're pretty much the same if you ask me. When I was a kid, every time I saw Popeye eat a can of spinach, I almost threw up. I love spinach, just not out of a can. 4 ounces of raisins for sweetness. Raisins and spinach. Nice combination. If I ever had to eat this, I'd eat it right on the toilet. I wouldn't take any chances. This stuff would go through me faster than Amanda Nunes went through Ronda Rousey. Next, add instant potato flakes. That might be able to slow things down a little bit. And then something I haven't seen since I was a little kid, powdered milk. I used to think powdered milk came from old cows. True story. Then we have carrots. And this next ingredient really baffled me. Milk-free cheese. It costs twice as much as regular cheese, and it's really gross. Oh, maybe that's why. This is punishment food after all. And now some vegetable oil for a nice smooth flow. Jesus, I can't imagine the horror stories after people eating this. Can you imagine sharing a cell with someone after they eat this? Oofa. Finally, last but not least, the icing on the cake, if you will. Damn, I'd shank somebody for a piece of cake right now. A whole can of tomato paste. That's right, tomato paste. At this point, the recipe could have called for a shoe to be thrown in there, and it wouldn't have sounded weird. Now, I'm sure they use their feet in prison, but I'm going to use my hands. So get them in there and get everything mixed. And I didn't think it would really all come together without adding liquid, but it did. And right now it feels like really dirty Play-Doh. Now pack it into a metal or glass bread pan. And if you said it looked like piles of poop with peanuts in it, I'd have to agree. Now pack the Nutraloaf down into a nice even layer so it turns out nice and pretty. And then it goes into a water bath to prevent the bottom from burning. And make sure when you pour the water into the water bath that you get it into the water bath and not into the Nutraloaf. Like I, the big dummy, did. Then it goes into a 325-degree oven for 45 minutes. I have a new puppy at home, and I'm not kidding you. 30 minutes into this cook, I was looking all around the house because I thought she crapped in the house, but it was the Nutraloaf. I thought once it came out of the oven, it would look a little bit better, but it looked as bad as it smelled. Horrible. But hey, the canned haggis looked and smelled bad at first, but I ended up loving it. So I'm going to stay optimistic. Maybe I'll like it. Who am I kidding? No, I'm not. Fortunately, it came right out of the pan. Unfortunately, it smelled like mildew and spinach. So without further ado, like old Nino Griezmanelli would say, let's cut a slice. I hope at least some of you know who I'm referring to. Cutting through this was really weird. It was almost like I was cutting through mud. It'd be soft for a minute and then a little hard. Soft, hard, soft, hard. At this point, I think I would have rather had 3 of Grandma's fruitcakes. But I do this for you, the people. And there was no turning back at this point. Doesn't that look good? And now it was time for the taste test, and I was really looking forward to it. My body had conflicting feelings. My jowls were tingling with anticipation, but my colon was spazzing out. It wasn't ready for this. But my body ended up worrying over nothing because there was absolutely no way I could swallow this. I chewed it up a couple times and I had to get it out of my mouth. The spinach is what did it for me. That and the texture. It was almost like chewing on a wet sock. This Nutraloaf alone is enough to keep me out of prison. Thank you all very much for watching. Give it a try if you like. I wouldn't recommend it. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.